Hello everyone, and in this video I'm going to be showing you a head-to-head comparison of two top AI models, ChatGPT4o and Deepseek version 3. And as you know, Deepseek version 3 has been making waves in the AI industry. It's outperforming many open source models and achieving performance that is almost comparable to some of the top closed source models out there. So in this comparison, the objective isn't to determine which model is best overall. As we know, certain models excel in specific areas, while others might be better in other tasks. So instead, what we're going to be doing is exploring which model performs better in specific categories based on a set of criteria that I'll outline. Now, these criteria might be different from your own, but what this video will do is provide you with valuable insights into their performance on these tasks. And by the end of this video, I'll have a clearer understanding of what to look for in each category and which model might be the better fit for your needs. So let's get started. Now, the first category we're going to be looking at is writing. And under writing, we have several different types of writing, which we're going to tackle. And I always like to start with writing because that's the essence of the AI model. And in terms of output, is it capable of responding to our instructions in terms of tone, the style, writing ability? And this is what we're going to be seeing in these series of prompts. So the first thing we're going to be asking both models is write a 500-word blog post on technological trends to watch out for in 2025. And we're going to be processing both of these at the same time. So let's look at the overall output. We've got here, as we step into 2025, the pace of technological innovation shows no signs of slowing down. As we approach 2025, the pace of technological innovation shows no signs of slowing down. From AI breakthroughs to transformative developments in sustainable energy, this year promises exciting advancements that will redefine industries in everyday life. From artificial intelligence to quantum computing, the next few years promise to bring transformative changes that will reshape industries, economies, and daily life. And here are some of the most exciting technological trends, and as well, here's a closer look at the key technological trends. So initially, they're extremely similar in terms of how they've structured the output, in terms of the tone, in terms of the style. Okay, so if we just skim quickly through the output here, we've seen that ChatGPT has come back with 8 different areas to focus on, and we can see that Deepseek here has come back with 7 main areas and a conclusion, and here it says looking ahead in ChatGPT4o, which I like better actually. Okay, so let's take a closer look at each of the sections. So we've got generative AI expands horizons, and here we have artificial intelligence and machine learning. So definitely title from ChatGPT4o is more appealing and definitely takes on the tone of a blog post a lot more. Generative AI exemplified by tools like ChatGPT continues to push boundaries. In 2025, expect it to move beyond content creation into fields like personalized medicine, legal document drafting, and real-time decision making. Maybe the examples are things that we're already seeing, but the tone is quite good, with advancements in multimodal AI systems integrating text, image, and video capabilities. Generative AI will reshape workflows across industries, making them more efficient and creative. And if we look at what Deepseek has come back with, it says AI and machine learning continue to dominate the tech landscape, and by 2025, their impact will be even more profound. We can expect AI to become more integrated into everyday applications, from personalized healthcare to autonomous vehicles. One of the most significant advancements will be in the realm of natural language processing, enable more human-like interactions with machines. AI-driven automation will also revolutionize industries like manufacturing, logistics, and customer service, leading to increased efficiency and reduced costs. So I think I can see that ChatGPT4o is a bit more personable. It's less formal than what we're getting from Deepseek, and it's a bit more rooted to what I'd write or I'd want to read in a blog post. But as we can see, the content is very similar. Let's also test the word count. I think that's important to see the extent of their ability to follow the instructions. So I'm going to start off by copying the output from ChatGPT4o. I'm going to just paste it here in the word counter, and we can see that it's come back with 558 words. So that's very close to what I specified, which is a 500-word blog post. Now I'm going to copy the output from Deepseek, and I'm going to check that out in my word counter as well. And we can see here that it's 652, so it's more than I've specified. So I think ChatGPT is a bit better here in following instructions. Okay, for the next prompt, I'm going to look at how they perform in terms of academic writing. So I'm going to add a prompt here that says, write 2 paragraphs, 300 words in total, on the challenges of graduate employability using an academic tone. Include accurate references and use critical writing. And I'm going to add the same prompt into Deepseek. Okay, so let's look at the responses. We can first see that ChatGPT has come back with a title, The Challenges of Graduate Employability. It says graduate employability remains a pressing challenge in higher education shaped by multifaceted economic, technological, and educational factors. One primary issue is the increasing disparity between the skills demanded by employers and those cultivated within academic institutions. By skimming through, I can tell you it's a good, well-written academic piece of writing. In terms of references, it's got highly cited reference here. Tomlinson, we've got Jackson as well. Look at the response by Deepseek. We can see that it says graduate employability has become a significant concern in higher education as the alignment between academic qualifications and labor market demands continues to face challenges. One primary issue is the mismatch between the skills graduates possess and those required by employers. So again, it's identified the same problem. Many academic programs emphasize theoretical knowledge over practical job-specific skills, leaving graduates ill-prepared for the dynamic needs of the modern workplace. And very well written. So as we can see, they're very similar. You can even see it says here this gap is exacerbated, this disconnect is exacerbated. So even in terms of writing and style, we've got a very similar output. They both have in-text citations and have references, and they identify similar issues. For example, we've said here the skills mismatch, which was very important. Both of them identify that, and the structural inequalities. So what I would say actually, in terms of references, Deepseek has found more influential references that are suited to the field. Who do we say is best in this category? I'd say that using either ChatGPT4o or Deepseek would give you very similar results. But because of the more influential references that it used, I would say that Deepseek was slightly better here. Okay, for this next prompt, I'm going to look at creative writing, and I'm going to add a prompt here that says, write a creative story around 500 to 1,000 words about a time traveler. I'm going to add the same thing to DeepSeek. Okay, so let's look at the output. Now, let's start off reading one paragraph of what ChatGPT has come back with. The silver light of the moon bathed the ancient oak tree in a ghostly glow as Ethan adjusted the dials on his chronosphere. A shimmering contraption of glass and metal, the time machine hummed with barely contained energy. To the casual observer, it might have looked like a giant snow globe, but to Ethan, it was his ticket to understanding the mysteries of time. Now let's look at Deepseek. In the year 2147, time travel was no longer the stuff of science fiction. It was a reality, albeit a tightly controlled one. The temporal accord signed by the world's governments strictly regulated its use to prevent catastrophic paradoxes. Only a handful of chrono wanderers, highly trained individuals, were permitted to navigate the time stream. Among them was Dr. Ilara Voss, a brilliant physicist with a penchant for breaking rules. Okay, so you can see this straight away. The writing style from ChatGPT, you've got ghostly glow, got barely contained energy, and if we look through it, it does have parts which you can actually work with. If I look at DeepSeek's creative response, and I before in the video which looked at DeepSeek on its own, in terms of creative writing, it's still very basic, and you can see right from the beginning, time travel was no longer the stuff of science fiction. It was a reality, a tightly controlled one. And the writing doesn't flow. You feel like it's just a few things, a few sentences that just been put together. And then it goes from like basic writing to catastrophic paradoxes that doesn't even fit. And from reading the rest of the story, I can tell you that this happens throughout the writing as well. So who performs better in terms of creative writing? We say that ChatGPT4o is the clear winner in this category. Okay, so for this next category, we'll be looking at coding, and I'm going to add a prompt here that says, write HTML code for a cafe website that has a button in the middle of the page that says show menu. When the button is clicked, display a list of cafe menu items, e.g. coffee, tea, pastries. When it is clicked, it should change color to something warm and inviting and should be accompanied with an effect. Okay, so let's look at the output. Now, first thing we'll notice with ChatGPT is that it opens its code in Canvas. And the good thing about that is that we have the option to edit the code directly and change it if we don't like any parts of it. Now, with DeepSeek, what we have is we have the code. We can't edit on that directly. But what we do have is an interesting feature that allows us to run the HTML directly from DeepSeek. And so we can just get an overview without having to go and do the additional step of opening Notepad and then saving it as an HTML file and so on. So I'm going to start off with Deepseek and I'm going to run HTML. And you can see that it's come back with a web page. It's got the show menu button. Now let's see what ChatGPT has done. So I'm just going to start off by copying the code. Let's look at the output side by side. We can see here that ChatGPT again has a show menu button and DeepSeek has a show menu button. Say that ChatGPT is a bit more centered. If we click on that, we've got coffee, tea, pastries, sandwiches, background changes color, and if we've got Deepseek, we've got a nice looking menu. You can see that it's added a list of things, added more menu items on the list, and it's actually added nicer looking tabs on the list as well. So in terms of performance, very, very similar from both ChatGPT and Deepseek. I would say I'd go with Deepseek just because visually it looks more appealing. The menu items are more organized. I think that gives Deepseek a slight edge over ChatGPT4o in this category. Okay, for this next category, we're going to be looking at sentiment analysis. It looks at whether the AI model can analyze text to infer emotions and opinions, and this makes it really useful when you're trying to process things like feedback and you want to give it a decision based on a response. So I'm just going to add here a prompt that says, in 3 words, analyze the sentiment of this text. Despite the exciting opportunities this new job offers, the long hours and demanding workload leave me feeling overwhelmed and unsure about the future. And then I've said, decide whether the overall sentiment is positive or negative and justify your choice. Okay, so let's look at what ChatGPT has come back with. It said overwhelmed, uncertain, demanding, and it's given me the overall sentiment, it's negative. While the text acknowledges exciting opportunities, the dominant tone is shaped by feelings of being overwhelmed, unsure, and focused on the negative aspects like long hours and demanding workload. These outweigh the initial positive tone, leading to an overall negative sentiment. So very good response. It really picked up. It's really analyzed language. It's followed the instructions exactly like I've asked it. First, given me the response in 3 words, overwhelmed, uncertain, demanding. It's given me the overall sentiment, negative. And it's given me a good justification for why it's come back with a negative response. Now, if we look at what Deepseek has come back with, it's missed out the part of coming back with 3 words that analyze the sentiment of the text. So it's just said mixed and it's leaning negative. And it's given me a justification while the text mentions exciting opportunities. The emphasis on feeling overwhelmed and unsure about the future conveys a stronger negative sentiment overall. So again, come back with the right response. But in terms of following instructions exactly, coming back with a better justification, I would say that ChatGPT has performed better on this task. Okay, so for this next prompt, I'm going to add a complex article with a lot of details and figures, and I'm going to look at how well they both do with summarizing the article, their level of understanding from the response, and I'm going to add a prompt here that says summarize the following article and provide the key insights. Okay, so if we quickly skim through both responses, we can see that ChatGPT has come back with an initial summary, as I asked, and then the key insights, and it's broken down into 6 different insights. And then you can see from Deepseek that it's come back with the initial summary, and we also have about 6 key insights and a conclusion. Now, from just skimming through it, you can see that both of them have done quite a good job. They've both spoken about AI-enabled CRM capabilities in healthcare. You can see the content is slightly different. Deepseek has gone into a bit of detail and has given us a bit more background information about how these systems leverage the AI technologies. They've both spoken about the 3 dimensions. We've got here clinical capability, service capability, AI engagement capability, which ChatGPT has picked up on. But you can see there's a little bit more detail here in Deepseek as well. Then they both move on to service flexibility. Again, you can straight away see that ChatGPT has chosen to go with a very concise bullet style summarization, whereas we've gotten a bit more information from Deepseek. So overall, very good summaries from both of them. If you wanted a more concise overview of the paper, then I would go with ChatGPT4o. If you wanted more details, looking for more information and a more detailed summarization, then definitely Deepseek does a very good job. Okay, so for this next category, we're going to be looking at how the models do with reasoning ability. And a few things to note here. I'm using the ChatGPT4o, the paid model, and with Deepseek, I'm not going to be activating the Deep Think button. And this is because if I'm activating the Deep Think and I'm getting it to enhance the reasoning abilities, then I should be pairing it with ChatGPT4o1's model. And because I'm using a basic comparison between the models, I'll just be focusing on comparing the main models for each one. So I'm going to insert the prompt here, and this prompt says, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G are 7 people who travel to office every day by a particular train, which stops at 5 stations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 respectively, after leaving its base station. What you'll notice here is that the problem has a large number of variables, so things like 3 among them get on the train at the base station, D gets down at the station and the next station at which F gets down. B does not get down either with A or F, and so on. And then it tells us none of them get down at station 1. The question actually asks us at which station does E get down, and it gives us a number of options. A is at station 2, B station 3, C station 4, or D cannot be determined. And what I really like about this question is that it really shows us the logical thinking of the model, whether it's able to analyze all these different clues, draw the links and connections between the different parts of the statement, and the interactions between the different variables. So we're going to be entering this prompt. Okay, so let's look at both solutions. We'll start off with ChatGPT4o. It says to solve this problem, let's analyze the clues systematically. It gives us the stations, and it says each person either gets on or gets down at specific stations. And then it starts to analyze the clues. So 3 persons get on the base station, D gets down, and so on. It gives us 10 different steps about what's happening. And then it tells us the person's locations on onboarding and offboarding. And then it derives the answer, which is the correct answer, which is C. So E gets down at station 4. Now let's look at what Deepseek has come back with. It says to solve this problem, we need to carefully analyze the given clues and deduce the boarding and alighting stations for each person. Let's break down the information step by step. So again, it tells us the given information, 7 people, 5 stations, clues. I actually prefer the way that Deepseek has given me the information. It's just been very clear in stating out all the given information. And it starts with step 1, understanding the stations. And then it tells me base station, this is where the train starts. Okay. Whereas ChatGPT straight away goes on to the analysis. And then step 2, analyzing each clue. And then again, like ChatGPT, it takes each clue and tells me exactly what it does. And then what I really like here about Deepseek is that it even creates a table for me to show me at different stages the interactions between them. And then it says filling in the details. And you can see it's still going on with all the information, all the analysis, and then it comes back with that final table with the updated, deduced information, showing each person, showing their boarding station, showing the alighting stations. It then verifies the clues, and you can see like it's checking its work as it goes along. And then in the end, it gives me the final answer, which is C, station 4. So again, they both come back with the responses. And like I said, I'm using the main models for each one. And you can see just the extent of the analysis that you get here with Deepseek. If you're trying to work through a problem and you need it to go into depth and to show the reasoning behind why it's choosing different options and different solutions, then Deepseek definitely, just because of the extensive analysis that it's done, I would say is the winner in this category, even though they both get the right answer. Okay, so for this next category, I'm looking at how both models perform their mathematical ability. So for this prompt, I'm just going to come over here to the GRE practice question. I'm going to take an algebra question that's quite challenging. So I'm just going to copy this question and I'm going to give it to both models without actually giving them the solutions to see whether they're able to derive the right answer. And we can see that both models come back with the same answer. So we've got 5 and we've got 5 here. And if we just go back and check the solution, I'm assuming that it has to be 5. So we are going to submit the answer and it is the correct solution. Okay, so let's just test both models with one more maths question. Again, a hard, challenging question, and see if they both get it right. Okay, so I've just added another question here for both models. And we're going to enter that. So I've got different responses for the question, this time from both models. So I'm just going to go back to the question and check available responses. So initially I can see that the answers are integers, they're whole numbers. So I'm assuming that Deepseek will have the correct response. So I'm just going to enter here 5. And we can see that that is the correct response. And just to be sure, I'm just going to add here in ChatGPT, give me the numerical value. Okay, so we can see that the numerical value of what ChatGPT came back with is 5.8, which is the incorrect answer. So out of 2 questions, ChatGPT4o got 1 out of 2 and Deepseek got both of them right. So we'd say that the winner in this category would be Deepseek. So for this next prompt, we're just going to be looking at their uploading capacities. So I've got a number of files here, I've got 10 different files that I'm going to be adding to both models, and I want to see if they'll be able to take these files and process them. Okay, so I can see with ChatGPT, all the files have been uploaded. And if I just add a prompt here that says summarize these files, you can see it will start processing all the 10 files. Now let's move on to Deepseek. You'll see that I actually can't submit a prompt here. It says it can only read 23% of the files. Try replacing the attached files with smaller. So what I'm going to have to do now is I'm going to just have to delete some. It said 27%. So even after deleting majority of the files, 6 different files, it still will not enable me to add the prompt. So I'm still going to have to delete this one as well. And now you can see that it will be able to take a prompt, but this is using only 3 of the initial files that I attached, whereas ChatGPT4o was able to take all of the 10 files and process them. So here, in terms of uploading files, then ChatGPT4o would definitely be the winner in this category. Okay, for this next category, I want to look at how both models do with data analysis. So I'm going to start off by uploading a CSV file to both models. And this is actually quite a large CSV file. It contains a lot of variables. And I'm just going to add a general prompt here that says, analyze the dataset and provide me with the key insights. Okay, so let's look at both responses that we've received. We start off with ChatGPT. You can see that it's actually taken all the data and provided it in an interactive table. And it starts off by giving us a breakdown of the data. So it just tells us the number of countries. There's a data overview, just the number of columns that I have, the number of entries, the data types, a bit of information about the key columns as well, and some issues with the data. For example, the missing values, the inconsistent data types that need to be addressed. And then it tells me the next steps that I need to do. You can see that what it's initially done is given us this structured overview of the data set and some technical issues that I need to address before actually going into any kind of analysis. And then it tells me about the next steps. What do you want to do? Do you want to clean and pre-process the data? Do you want to explore the relationships? So the response is an introductory one, and you can see that it's just taken the whole picture, taken the technical aspects, and it's ready to complete the analysis once we've sorted out the issues in the data. Now, with Deepseek, we get a completely different approach to analyzing the dataset. It straight away goes into the actual metrics of the dataset. So it looks at the population density, it looks at the GDP per capita, literacy and education, and so on. And it highlights the trends across the different categories, giving us the breakdown of the information. But what you'll notice again with the Deepseek response is that although it looks at the main variables, we don't see a lot of analysis happening in terms of coming back with statistical analyses or exploring the numbers. It's mainly a descriptive response. So considering both responses, these were just the first initial prompts in terms of a very general analysis of the data. I much prefer the approach that I've been given by ChatGPT4o. You can tell that it's a lot more mature in the way it's handling the data. And then after that part is done, it will start to consider next steps. Okay, and just as a follow-up, I've asked both models what would be 5 relevant charts from this data set, and they've both come back with 5 different charts. And just to show the model's abilities as well, I'm just going to ask both models to visualize chart 1. And here you can see straight away the difference is that ChatGPT is able to provide me with the bar chart inside the model that I can download. With Deepseek, I would have to manually copy the code and then visualize it. So definitely an advantage with ChatGPT4o being able to visualize my dataset within the model. So I'd definitely be more comfortable conducting my data analysis with ChatGPT4o. So in this video, we've been able to compare both models side by side across a large number of categories, and you've seen the strength of both models in performing the various tasks. And we've seen that in some cases, ChatGPT4o was a clear winner, whereas in other cases, Deepseek had advantages. So considering that Deepseek is completely free and able to operate at such a high level that is very comparable to ChatGPT4o, again, this is just unbelievable. And so I hope you found this video useful, and I'll see you in the next video.